Hello everyone. Hello. Oh, there we go. Today, good evening, good morning, good whatever it is where you live. Um, let me message it on Discord real quick. There we go. Hi Leaf. Today we'll be reading some Umineko again. It's probably going to be pretty chill, pretty straight to the point. Um, so yeah, let me put the game real quick. Things have been going very slowly in the game right now. Like, it is a very verbose game. Freaking hell, man. This is chapter 1, and I know, like, I'm not even, like, in a fourth of it, and they have, like, what? 8 Umineko streams? When, like, in 5 years, I'll be finishing the fourth capture, fourth chapter. Let me get it. Okay. Oh, did you do stuff? There we go. Did it work? Where's the sound of the game? Where's the music? Help. Oh, it showed up, okay. But where's the music? Where are the sounds? Maybe in the mixer? The sound bugged. That's lovely. The only reason I have this shiny modded versions for the freaking sounds. Come on. Do your job. Dude, what happened? What the hell? Was it because of the capture? It doesn't make any sense. Let the intro go. I'll see if it will work. Oh, I muted it. I'm retarded. Evil genius, by the way. I'm an evil genius scientist, by the way. So on the 10th twilight, the journey ends, and you reach the Golden Lands. Really diligent, Maria. You did a good job writing this all down. I forget a lot, so I always write things down. Mama told me to. There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around. Cute. And Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. That's my streamer. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure.
まず一行目。懐かしき故郷を貫く愛の川か。
Let's start with the first line. Behold, the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown.
じい様の故郷ってどこだっけ？
Where was grandfather's hometown again?
戦前の後ろ宮家は小田原のあたりに屋敷を構えてたって聞いたぜ。
I heard that before the war, the Shurimiya family had a mansion near Odawara.
で、となりゃ小田原に流れてる鮎の泳ぐ川に関心がいくわけだろ。
I heard that before, which makes you wanna know which sweet fish river flows through Odawara, right?
まずはその川が起点になるからな。で、黄金鏡を目指す者はそいつを下って鍵を探せとあるわけだ。
Yeah, cause that river would be the starting place. Anyone searching for the golden land would head down that and search for the key.
小田原にある川ってなんだ？
What's this river in Odawara?
鮎が泳ぐ川だぜ。
Does it have sweet fish swimming in it?
小田原で鮎って言ったら早川だろうね。渓流釣りで有名だよ。
If you're looking for sweet fish in Odawara, it'd have to be Hayakawa. It's famous for its mountains and stream fishing. Stream fishing? So mean. I hate fish.
マリアももう少し大きくなったらわかるぜ。
Mario, you'll understand when you get a bit
マリアの
older.
塩焼きをベロベロベロってな。
I'm not reading this weird stuff.
うまいぜ。さっき飯食ったばっかりだってのに、もう腹が減ってきちまうぜ。
Yummy. Even though we just ate, I'm getting hungry again.
ビスケットでもお持ちしましょうか。
Biscuito. Shall I bring you a biscuit? Huh?
あ悪い悪い。そんなつもりで言ったんじゃないぜ。
Oh, sorry. That's not what I meant. I don't mind it. Shannon-chan was faithfully keeping us company since we didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. She didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. Chores. I would have thought that since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on a conversation with people close her age. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally, the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull.
さて、小田原で鮎の川って言えば早川だってことは分かった。となりゃ下るしかねえよな。
Okay, so I get that the Sweetfish-filled river near Odawara is Hayakawa. In that case, we've gotta go down it.
早川を下ると何があるんだろうな。
Do you find anything if you head down Hayakawa River?
川に出て海に出ると思います。
If you follow it downstream, you'll arrive at the ocean.
そうさ、河口部に出る。そして碑文の3行目には川を下ればやがて里ありとあるな。
Of course, you'd reach the mouth of the river, and the third line of that depth was as you travel down it, you will see a village.
ちなみにそういう河口部は大抵大昔から輸送の要衝になってて大きな都市があるもんさ。
By the way, since long ago, the mouths of rivers have been key points in transportation, and large cities tend to be built there.
ここが次のチェックポイント。
That'd be the next checkpoint. I find it so funny that he just mentioned historical like factoid because he wants to sound like he's smart. Hmm,
なかなかいい筋だね。
that's a pretty good theory.
バトラ君の想像通り、そこは大昔にとても栄えたことだよ。
Just like you guessed, there's an old city there that was very prosperous in
小
ancient
田原城が
times.
あるところだね。
That's where Odawara Castle is.
修学旅行で小田原城に行った気がします。素敵なお城でしたよ。
I think I might have gone to Odawara Castle on a field trip once. It really was a wonderful castle.
ああ、私も小田原城だったぜ。洋館に住んでてなんだが、やっぱり日本人は和風の方が落ち着くよな。
Yeah, I also went there. Even though I live in a Western style house, it's true that Japanese people feel calmer with a Japanese layout. Ooh.
マリア、お城退屈。
Castles are boring. Shut up.
遊園地がいい。
Theme parks are better. Ooh. I like that word.
そうかよしよし
I see, okay.
このバトラ様が気前よく遊園地を一日借り切って遊ばせてやるぜ
If we find the gold, the great Battler Sam will generously reserve a whole theme park for a day and let you play in it.
しかし小田原城の隠し黄金
Still, Odawara Castle, huh? The hidden gold of Odawara Castle.
お
Oh,
こりゃなんだかいかにもって感じだよな
it's actually starting to sound pretty good.
まあ、2年前の私たちもそこまでは行き着いたぜ。小田原で鮎の泳ぐ川を下った里。
Well, we figured out that much 2 years ago. The village down the river where the sweet fish swim in Odawara.
そこが多分小田原城あたりだね。
We figured it was probably somewhere near
私たちも行き着いた。
Odawara Castle.
問題は次の
Odawara. The problem is the next line.
さて、バトラの鎮水理はどこまで
Okay, let's see where Butler's strange reasoning can take him. Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved the puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself.
4行目
The fourth line.
その里にて二人が口にし岸を探れ
In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of.
二人ってのが何のことかわからねえがとにかく岸だな
I don't know what it means by the two, but anyway, the shore.
岸ってなんだよ
What does it mean by the shore?
岸って名前がつく地名でもあるのかな
From what I get from this is that there's a lot of wordplay. I think this will be a recurring theme, if not in the first episode, I think throughout the series. You see a lot of this focus on names and in characters and their meaning. Maybe that takes a hold on the overall themes, because I've watched Higurashi. I know this guy likes to implement his themes in other stuff, even in the slice of life moments. There with shore or kisi in its name.
蘇我岸という地名が小田原にあるんだそうですよ。
I've heard there's a place called Sagakisi in Odawara. Huh?
おお詳しいな
You should know a lot about it.
ってことはなんだよ
What could that mean?
シャノンちゃんも黄金を狙って謎解きに挑戦してるんだね
Shannon-chan, are you trying to solve the riddle and get the goal too?
俺たちはライバルだぜ
That makes us rivals.
別に
Marble rivals?
黄金なんて興味は。
Gold rivals? It's not like I'm interested in gold.
ただその以前にジョージ様から教えてもらっただけ
It's
で。
just that George Sama told me about it before.
2年前の私たちも 同じ推理に行き着いたってわけさ。
That's because we reached the same conclusion 2 years ago.
わざわざ地図を広げて調べたんだぜ。
We even went to the trouble of laying out a map and looking it up.
小田原城の北に5キロくらいだったかな。
It was about 5 kilometers to the north of Odawara.
そこには確かに曽我岸という地名があるよ。
We definitely found a place called Sagakishi there.
でもそこからがわからないんだ。
However, after that we got stuck.
次の5行目にはその土地のどこに鍵があるかは記してない。
The 5th line doesn't say where the key is hidden in that place.
マリアちゃん、読んでくれるかい？
I like how the VA's voice changes when he's talking to Maria. I find that very cute. Maria-chan, could you read it for us? Ugh.
そこに黄金鏡への鍵が眠る。
There sleeps the key to the golden land. Ugh. I could read it.
曽我岸ったって広いだろうし、かつてそこに後ろ宮家の家があったわけでもない。
Sagakishi is probably large, and there wasn't even any house built there by the Shuramiya family.
その広大な土地のどこかに鍵が隠されてて、ノーヒントってんじゃ。
Not much we
こい
can...
つはお手上げってわけだぜ。
Shut up, woman. Not much we can do to find a key in such a vast area without any hints.
確かにな。
You're right.
鍵が手に入らないことには、そのジョージ兄貴、曽我岸ってのはどんなとこなんだ？
And without the key, we can advance to the next line. Short Aniki, what kind of place is Sogakushi?
さあね。
Let's say.
行ったことはないからわからないけど、地図によると山の中みたいだよ。
Let's say I've never been there, so I don't really know. But according to the map, it's in the
確か
mountains.
浅間山の山麓みたいだったね。
I'm pretty sure it was the base of Mount Asama.
なんだかパッとしねえな。宝のありかを隠した謎ってのはもっとぴったりとはまるもんじゃねえのかよ。
Something doesn't feel right. You'd expect a riddle pointing the way to hidden gold to be a bit more exact.
どうも曽我岸ってのがそもそも間違いって気がするぜ。
I get the feeling that even the part about Sogakushi was a mistake.
私は曽我岸を疑ってるぜ。
Well, I think he could be Sogakushi.
私たちが知らないだけで、例えばじいさまの子供時代を過ごした家とかがあるかもしれないだろ。
It could be talking about some house the grandfather lived in when he was a kid that we don't know
1
about.
行目に懐かしき故郷をって行があるくらいだもんな。
After all, the first line mentioned his beloved hometown.
じいさまによく酒とか継がされてたろ。
Shannon, you've served grandfather alcohol and stuff lots of times, right?
昔話とか聞かされたことないのか？
Hasn't he ever talked to you about his past?
親方様は昔の話はほとんどされません。ただ、後ろ宮家が通りかけた関東大震災について非常に人事のように話されることがありましたので。
The master almost never speaks of the past. However, he talks of the Great Kanto earthquake as though it was someone else's
関
story.
東地方よりずっと遠方にお住まいだったかもしれません。
So he may have been living far away from the Kanto area.
後ろ宮本家は小田原に住んでたかもしれないけど、分家はその限りじゃなかったろうね。
The Shuramiya family may have been living in Odawara, but not all of the branch families
お
were.
じい様はよく自分のことを分家も分家、後継ぎに最も縁遠かった
Grandfather often called himself part of a branch family,
と言われるくらいだからね。
the least connected to the successor.
ってことはつまり
And that means
懐かしき故郷ってのがすでに小田原じゃない可能
the
性も
beloved hometown might not even be Odawara at all.
じいさまの故郷なんて聞いたこともない
I've
ぜ。
never heard anything about grandfather's
聞い
hometown,
ても素直に教えちゃくれねえだろうしよ。
and I thought he'd actually tell me if I asked.
懐かしき故郷というのが後ろ宮家のルーツを指さないのであれば、小田原説は初めから間違ってることになっちゃうね。
if the so-called beloved hometown isn't referring to the Shermier family's roots, then the other theory is wrong from the beginning.
もちろん蘇我騎士の疑いが晴れたわけじゃないけれども
Of course, this doesn't completely remove the possibility that it was Sagakushi.
例えば幼少の頃を小田原で過ごしその後遠方へ引っ越した可能性もあるだろうし
For example, perhaps he lived in Odawara when he was very young, but then moved far away later.
おお、さっきから何の話かわかんない。
I don't understand what you're all talking about.
おー
Ugh. Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom.
あーつまりだな黄金すごろくの最初のスタート地点が決まらないことには何も始まらないってことだぜ
So basically, if we can't agree on the starting point of this dice game of gold, we're totally stuck. But wait,
最初の5行で見つかるのは鍵だろ
after the first 5 lines, the thing end up finding is a key, right?
鍵なんてなくても扉はぶち壊して入ることだってできるはずだぜ
Even if you don't have a key, it's always possible to bust through a door.
とりあえず最初の5行をすっ飛ばしてその先の推理に入ってもいいんじゃねえか
Can we just skip the first 5 lines and start figuring out the rest?
おー、その発想はなかったぜ。まあいいや、どうせ暇つぶしなんだ。
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh well, we're just wasting time anyway.
続きを聞かせろよ、バトラの推理。
Let's hear the rest of Battler's reasoning.
でも、その先からは急に物騒になるんですよね。
But in the next part, it gets dark really fast. Shun frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree.
第1の番に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよ
By the way, that's very gruesome stuff for you to say for a kid that it's like 7 years old, I think Maria is. Although I played God of War with 8, so yeah. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as
い
sacrifices.
きなり物騒になるな
It sure does get horrible
第
quickly.
2の番には、寄り添う2人を引き裂けときたもんだ。恋仲を破談させるのか。
On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the two who are close. Does that mean to make them break off their loving
文字
relationship?
通り引き裂くという意味なのか。
Or does it mean to literally tear them
わ
apart?
かりかねるけど、どっちにせよ、
I don't know,
気
but
持ちの悪い話だぜ。
either way, it's pretty disgusting.
その第2の番の解釈を別にしても第1の番に6人第4の番から第8の番までで5人
Even if we set that second line aside, it mentions 6 people for the first twilight, then 5 people for the 4th through 8th twilights.
少なく見積もっても11人が生贄にされなきゃならない
So at least 11 people must be sacrificed. Ugh.
アートリーチェが蘇るための
They're sacrifices to revive Beatrice.
なるほど魔女復活のための生贄
I see, sacrifices to restore the witch.
そういう解釈にもなるな
That's what it means.
その結果第9の番に魔女が蘇って
Near the end, the witch will be revived on the 9th
最後
twilight.
は極めつけだな
The last part is guaranteed.
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and no one shall be left alive.
みんな死んでしまいます。
So everyone will die in the end.
それでようやく次の第10の番にゴールってことになってんな。みんな死んじまうのに黄金鏡へ至るだろうって言われても。
And after that, the 10th twilight is the goal line. Not sure how you're supposed to reach the golden land if everyone's dead by then.
鍵を手に旅に出た当人も生き残れないに含めるのかどうかは解釈の分かれるところだね
Depending how you interpret it, the traveler who holds the key may or may not be included in the none shall be left alive part.
しかしよ最後のところには 面白いことが書いてあるぜ。
But at the end, there's something pretty interesting.
ゴールした後、
After
魔
reaching
女
the
から
goal,
もらえる4つの宝の行だよ。
the witch gives out 4 treasures.
1つは全ての黄金。
One shall be all the gold.
問題は次だ。
The problem is the next
全
one.
ての死者の魂を蘇らせるとあるぜ。
It says the dead souls will be resurrected, right?
みんな死んじまったっていうのとかけてるような気がしねえか。
Doesn't that sound like it means everyone who died in the earlier lines?
それを言われれば、次の失った愛すらも蘇らせる第二の番の寄り添いし二人を引き裂けにかけているようにも見えますね。
If you put it like that, then the part about reviving lost love might refer to the pair torn apart on the second twilight.
そうだね。
That's right.
そして4つ目も第9の番にかけてある。
And the fourth one refers to the ninth twilight.
第9の番に蘇った魔女を4つ目の宝が再び眠りにつかせている。
The fourth treasure is putting the witch revived on the ninth twilight to sleep.
好意的に解釈すりゃ死んだり別れさせたりと忙しいが最後には全部チャラになるわけだな。
If we put a happy spin on all of this, it'll be hectic with people dying and breaking up all over the place, but it'll all made right in the end.
目覚めた魔女も再び眠るし手元にはたっぷりの黄金だけが残るって寸法だぜ。
The awakened witch will sleep again and everything will be like he was at the start except with a huge pile of gold.
死んだり蘇らせたり別れさせたりくっつかせたりと、ま
The
あ
witch-
お忙しいこったね。
Shut up. The witch must be pretty busy with all the killing, reviving, breaking up, and reuniting people.
ついでに起きたり眠ったりな。
Not to mention waking up and sleeping.
やれやれ。
Sheesh.
せっかくの隠し黄金の話も魔女の話が絡んじまうと急にうさんくさくなっちまうぜ。
Just when the tale of the hidden gold was getting interesting, it all gets pretty dubious once the witch starts showing up.
違いないな。
Too true. I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry.
魔女はすごい。魔法で何でもできる。殺すことも生き返らせることも愛を与えることも奪うことも空も飛べるし姿を透明にできるし黄金もパンも生み出せる。
The witch is incredible. She can do everything with anything with magic. Even kill, even bring back to life, even give love, even take it. She can fly in the sky, can become invisible. Can even make gold and bread out of nothing.
いけね。悪い悪い。冗談だよ。
Dang, my bad, we were just joking. Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands, opening on to some other pages, tried to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and while conveyed the fantastical image Marie had of witches, it wasn't the normal sinister image of a crook-nosed hag flying around on a broom, but a dream-like person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wear a beautiful dress. It was just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Fitting through the sky, flitting, what's the word? Flitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow. dancing around all night with a teacup and a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much she poured out of it. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that she so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want the dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph which affirmed the existence of witches, because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream.
マリアちゃんにとってはこれは黄金の隠し場所を示すものじゃなくて魔女を蘇らせるための魔法なんだって。
To Maria-chan, the epitaph isn't a guide to the hidden gold, but magic to revive the witch. So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George Anarchy. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon timidly opened her mouth.
マリア様、ご存知ですか？私たち使用人の間では、ベアトリーチ様の怪談が語り継がれているんですよ。
Maria-sama, did you know there's a ghost story about Beatrice that has been passed down amongst the servants? Oh?
シャドン、聞かせてやれよ。私は知らないんだけど、使用人の間じゃかなり有名な話らしいぜ。
Yeah, that's right. Shan, tell us about it. I don't really know, but it's apparently pretty famous among the servants.
何の話だ？階段？
What is this, a ghost story?
うん。僕たちが生まれる前からある話らしいね。母さんにも話を聞かされたことがあるよ。
Yes, it seems it's a story from before we were born. I also heard about it from my mother.
はい、この島にお屋敷が建てられてからずっと語り継がれている話です。当時の使用人たちは、お屋敷には昼と夜で違う主がいるとささやき合っていたそうです。
Yes, it has been passed down since the time of the mansion's construction. The servants of the time whispered that the mansion had two masters, one of the day and one of the night. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか。
When people did the rounds a second time to check doors, windows, and locks that were supposedly closed, they'd find some of them left open.
消したはずの明かりがついていたり、つけたはずの明かりが消えていた、置いたはずのものがなくなっていたり。
Lights that were supposed to be off were turned on. Lights that were supposed to be on went out. Things left lying around would disappear,
置いた覚えのないものが置かれていたり。
and things would appear when no one had any memory of putting
そう
them
いう
there.
ことがあるたびに、古い使用人たちは魔女が姿を消してお屋敷を訪れ、いたずらをしていったのだろうとささやき合ったそうです。
Beatrice comes, makes fun of literal fucking servants who just do their job and goes away. So based. And things would appear to have, when no one had any memory of putting them there. When any of these things happened, the old servants would say that the witch had visited the mansion, invisible, and was playing pranks. See, she exists. Beatrice exists.
ああ、いるよな。私も昔よく 登校の時に限ってカバンが見つからなかったりしたもんだぜ。
Yeah, she exists. Long ago, it was always right before leaving for school that I wasn't able to find my bag and stuff. Maria puffed her chest with an ooh, as though this was final proof that of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hard again, so I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on night of a thunderstorm would be certainly very eerie.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。
In addition, some servants also seen will-o'-the-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around. I know that Beatrice has something about butterflies.
カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。
Kanakin also saw something like that when he went patrolling one
あ
night.
と最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。
And recently you often hear servants talking about strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight.
私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうとささやき合ってるんですよ。
We've whispered together that the Beatrice Sama in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks around through the mansion.
ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
It happened a while ago, but even I have heard some footsteps while patrolling at night that resemble those stories.
ひゅー
Phew,
そりゃ怖え
that's scary.
怯えることはないんですよ。ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもう一人のお屋敷の主です。だから変に怯えたりしないで敬意を持っていれば決して悪いことはしないのだそうです。
Ah, but there's nothing to be afraid of. Beatrice Sama is another ruler of this mansion, separate from the master, so there is no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, I hear she won't do anything bad. Clueless?
ただし敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
However, she can be quite terrifying. Pardon. However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
はい。
Correct.
私が勤めを始める直前に階段を転がり落ちて腰に大怪我をして辞めた方はベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。
Correct. I've heard that just before I began working here, someone who spoke badly of Beatrice Sama fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury on their
だから
back.
使用人たちはベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。
Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice Sama's anger had been brought down upon this person.
スパートラとチェシカきっとお怒りに触れる。
Anger will definitely be brought down on Butler and Jessica. Ew.
わあ悪かったぜ。お怒りに触れちゃたまるねえ。謝るよマリア。
Sorry, I don't want their anger brought down upon me. I apologize, Maria.
魔女様にも謝るぜ。
Of course, I also apologize to the witch.
ベアトリーチェ様ごめんなさい。よそ者のザレ事と思って勘弁してやってください。
I'm so sorry, Beatrice Sama. Please forgive an outsider's nonsense.
私も謝るぜ。
I'll apologize as well.
ベアトリーチェ様、これで魔女様、私たちを許してくれるかな。
I'm sorry, Beatrice Sama. Will the witch be able to forgive us now?
わかんない。
Don't know.
魔女は気まぐれだから許してくれるときは許してくれるし許さないときは許さない。
wishes are fickle, so they forgive that when they want to and don't when they don't. Oh,
それは困った
that's no
ね
good.
マリアちゃん、バトラ君とジェシカちゃんがベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れないようにするいいおまじないとかないかな。
Maria-chan, isn't there any kind of good luck charm that could prevent Buttercone and Jessica-chan from suffering Beatrice-sama's wrath?
何か魔除けとかさ。
Maybe something that can block against magic. By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admit, his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they'd come from a book on black magic. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages which contained things that looked like magic circles. I believe grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. When Maria literally finally found what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and then threw it on her handbag. She then began fishing through that bag's content. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria, and really threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when the mom took out the wrong two. I have no idea what's this reference. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was just unimaginably, I don't know this word, unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now. She held those out to me and Jessica. Ugh. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary with scorpion-themed metal attached. Haven't you ever seen those cheap zodiac themes accessories? The kind you might find winning a crane game at an arcade? It really looked like something like that. There were two of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were two of them made me feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items.
これを私とバトラーに
Are you giving me this to me and Butler? Yeah.
このお守りならベアタリーチェも大丈夫。
With these charms, you don't even need to worry about Beatrice.
サソリは魔除けの力があるから。
Because scorpions have the power to ward off magic.
サソリにそんな力がね。
Didn't know that scorpions can do that.
バトラが信じない。
Butler doesn't believe. I said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredible holy power that he had been used in magical circles since ancient times.
他の使用人の子から聞いたことがあります。サソリって魔術では魔除けのシンボルとして描かれることもあるんだとか。
Oh, I've heard about that from some of the other servants, young servants. Something about how the scorpion is drawn as a magic repelling symbol in sorcery.
へえ、そうなのか。
Oh, really?
サソリは
Ooh.
悪い魔法や最悪から守ってくれる。そしてエメラルドは心に平和をもたらしてくれ。だから二重で効果がある。
The scorpion protects against bad magic and calamity, and emerald brings peace to the heart. Therefore, its effective are twofold. Ew.
ほんとだ。サソリがエメラルドを抱いて守ってるね。なるほど。これはご利益がありそうだよ。
It's true, the scorpion wraps around the emerald and protects it. Yes, that certainly does sound like it'd work well. I really wanted to make fun of those worthless looking charms. But as I watched Maria explaining with all her heart, realizing that she'd found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize for some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that.
そっか。ベアトリーチェ様には謝ったけどよ。万が一たたりがある時でもマリアのこのお守りのおかげで安心だぜ。
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. I apologize to Beatrice-sama, but even if I do end up getting cursed, I'll be safe now thanks to Maria's charm.
ジェシカ。
Right, Jessica?
ああ、そうだぜ。
Water. Yeah, that's right.
ありがとうな。
Thanks, Maria. Ew.
心に平安が欲しいときは腕につける。
Wear it on your arm when you want the heart to be at
お
peace.
財布に入れるとお金が減らなくなる。
Put it on your wallet and your money won't
ドアノブ
decrease.
にかけておくと悪いものが入ってこられなくなる。
If you hang it from a doorknob, bad things can't come
お
in.
守り。
It's a very convenient charm.
それはすごい効能ですね。マリア様が自信を持って進めるお守りならきっと頼もしいものと思います。
What an incredible effect. If Maria Sama gives it her confident seal of approval, then it surely must be really reliable. Shannon-chan clapped her hands together and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer, if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Every time George, Aniki, and Shanin-chan would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed the communication freely after a year of separation.
今額にポタってこなかったかい？
Did you just feel a drop on my forehead?
どうだろう
I
な。
wonder. As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for random raindrops to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
マリアポタッと来ない。マリアだけ来なく。
I didn't feel a drop. Only I didn't.
安心しろ。俺にも来ねえぜ。
Don't worry, neither did I.
それに今夜になれば誰にも等しく大雨が降るだろうよ。
I'm sure it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get some plenty. Don't worry, neither did I. Anyway, I'm sure it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get to feel plenty of raindrops.
そうだね。
That's right.
そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかな。
Maybe we should head back soon. Shinnen-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now.
もう う仕事に戻る時間かよ。
Is it really time for you to return to your work?
はい皆
Yes.
様と一緒で楽しい時間を過ごさせていただきました。
Thank you all very
あ
much
りがとうございました。
for allowing me to enjoy some time together with you all.
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。さあみんな片付けを手伝おう。
Tell Kumasawa-san thanks for the cookies. Okay, everyone, help out with the cleanup. Shannon-chan declined in our help, saying that this was a servant's job, but picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. We folded the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up. Ew. The trash is getting away. Ew.
そいつは逃がさないぜ。マリアより先にいただきだ。
I won't let it escape. I'll grab it for Maria. Ooh. I'll grab it.
マリア、
Maria,
靴を濡らすなよ。怒られるぜ。
don't get your shoes wet. You'll get in trouble. To Maria, chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful winds was just another game. Cute. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
You've all helped me a lot. Thank you very much.
もう本当
Oh,
に
you
時間
can
がない
hear
み
the
たいだ
wind.
ね。
It looks like you're really out of
先に戻っ
time.
ていいよ。
It's okay if you head back first. George Umineko perceived from her hurried appearance that a very little free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だからな。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
Genji-san's very strict about time. If you don't show up where you're supposed to be at the wrong time, I bet he'll be pissed.
また後でね。
We'll see you
お
later.
仕事頑張ってね。
Do your best with your work.
は
Hi.
い。それでは失礼させていただきます。
Then, if you will excuse me. After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran towards the rose garden.
ほんじゃ、俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。
Okay, let's head back to the
テレビでも
the
見て、
guest
く
house.
つろがせてもらうさ。
We can watch TV or something and relax a little. Oh. Wanna watch TV? Wanna watch TV?
なら決まりだな。
Then it's decided.
戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
Let's all head back and watch TV together. Maria, who wasn't even making fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon ruins them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
These roses might be done in by tonight's winds.
そうだな。
You're right.
バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。
Still, I think the roses were pretty
台
lucky.
風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
After all, they get to welcome all of you before the typhoon.
花はいつか必ず散る。
All flowers lose their petals
で
eventually.
もだからこそ咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
That means we can admire them even more when they're in bloom.
そうだな。
That's
マリ
right.
アもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
Maria, burn this image into your eyes. At this moment, they are the best roses of the year.
目に焼き付ける。
Burn into eyes. Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she'd remembered something.
マリアのバラ、台風で飛ばされちゃう。
My rose, the typhoon will send it flying. Ooh.
ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらう
Oh, you mean that sad-looking rose George Umineko marked with a ribbon? Maria probably remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
あれはどこだったっけな。
Where was that
確
again?
かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
I'm sure it was somewhere around here. We searched everywhere around the area, but it was only a single flower among all of other roses. After all, even though we knew it was something close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose be impossible online. The winds making up the undulate. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us for making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。
Maybe it wasn't here.
少し手分けをして探してみようか。
Let's try spreading out a bit in our
そうだな。
search. Sounds
人海
good.
戦術で行こうぜ。
Let's go for our strength in numbers. Huh?
なんだよマリ
What's up, Maria? As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged at my jacket with an unhappy face. You can tell she didn't want us to leave that spot.
オ。なんだよ。
What is it? What's wrong?
マリアのバラはここなの。
My rose is here. It's here.
でも現にないぜ。
It's not actually. Not
こ
right.
の花壇の裏側だったかもな。
Maybe it was the other side of the flower bed, but it's actually not. Huh? But it's actually not, right? Maybe it was on the other side of the
み
flower
んなで
bed.
探せば早いぜ。
If you all look, we'll find it fast, okay? Ugh, it's here. My house is here. Look for it. Look for it. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at the spot and said it was definitely there, but actually it wasn't. Even though Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere, we were at a loss for what to do. For a while we had just stay near Maria and pretend to search through the rose. I didn't read the last word. Ugh,
ない。
not here. Not here. Not here. Ugh. Maybe she's saying that he would be there, but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Oh
参っ
man,
たな。マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまった。
Maria's really losing her temper.
マリアは
Sometimes
多分
Maria
すごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。
Sometimes Maria starts to really care about really important,
それがどうにかなるときはいいんだけど。
really pointless stuff. If she gets what she wants, that's okay, but
ないものは探せないし
you
ね。
can't find something that isn't there.
困ったな。
That's not good. Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her granddaughter's voice and came over.
あらあら。どうしたのみん
My,
な。
my, what happened here?
何か探し物なの？
Are you looking for something?
探して。
Look for it.
マリアのバラを探して。
Mama, you look for my rose too.
マリアのバラ。
Your rose?
この辺に元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに目印をつけたんです。
We found an unhealthy rose around here and marked it.
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。
We tied a candy wrapper around it.
しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃすぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。
But Maria, We tried a candy wrap around it, but Maria, if I remember correctly, it was growing right in front and really stood out, didn't it?
足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ他の場所だったと思うぜ。
Unless it grew legs and ran off somewhere, it must have been somewhere else.
マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか。
Maybe you're remembering it wrong.
ここなのパトラが信じてくれ。
そのうう言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかる
How
の
many times do I have to tell you to stop saying ooh, ooh before you will
マ
understand?
マも探してあげるから静かにしなさい
Mama will look for it, so stay quiet. I never seen Aunt Rosa to be anything other than kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. We were already more than sure that it wasn't around here, so it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ
The rose isn't here.
他の場所の間違いじゃない
Did you mistake this place for somewhere
これだ
else?
けたくさんのバラがあるんだ
There are many roses around. What's wrong?
ここにあるの。
It is here.
ママも信じてくれ。
Mama doesn't believe.
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ
I already believed you and looked hard for it, didn't I?
でもないじゃない
But it isn't here.
でもここなの。
But it is here.
ここにあるのにないの。
It is here, but it isn't.
じゃあ誰かが抜いちゃったんでしょ
Then someone must have
とにか
ripped
く
it
その
out.
うう言うのやめなさい
And we say, stop saying ew, ew.
マリアのバラ抜いたの誰。抜いたの誰。
Who ripped out my rose? Who did it? Give it back. Give it back. Ew, ew.
そんなの知らないわよ
How should I
や
know?
めなさいそのうう言うのやめなさい
Stop it. Stop saying ew, ew. Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder. Didn't I tell you to stop that weird habit? That's why all the kids in your class make fun of you. Cut it out. Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. I didn't know she did this. I knew she abused her. But I didn't know she'd do this in front of everyone. Not that, like, I'm against this shit. Like, she's being very annoying and very... Well, she's a child, but she's being very childish and very stupid. Sometimes children do need to be slapped around. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try to shut her daughter up. Oh, Rosa.
まあまあその小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
She's just a little kid, so there's no reason to get so serious. I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together. But Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face and realized that I should have stayed out of this.
ごめんねバトラ君たちはちょっとお部屋に戻っててくれる
I'm sorry, but could the rest of you go back to your room for a
おば
bit?
さんはマリアとちょっと話があるの
I need to have a little talk with Maria.
誰もマリアのバラを信じてくれない。ここにあったのに。
Nobody believes in my rose, even though it was here. Look for it. Look for it. Here, it was here.
でもないじゃない
But it is not
他の
here.
場所の勘違いでしょ
She must have confused this place for somewhere else, right?
ここなの。
It is here. It is definitely here.
じゃあなくなっちゃったの
Then
よ
it disappeared.
やめなさい
Give it up.
どうしてマリアどうして
Why? What did it disappear?
知らないわよ
I
そん
don't
なの
know that.
だからその言うのをやめなさい
So stop saying ooh, ooh. On Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. It was strong enough to knock Maria over.
ローザおばさんいくら娘でも暴力はいけねっすよ
Hey, Aunt Rosa, even if she's your daughter, violence isn't the answer. I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground crying ew. I knew that as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business, but I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this.
バトラ君は変に思わないあなたの学校にうなってる女の子
Do you think it's weird, Bethlehem? Are there any girls at your school that murder ooh ooh?
まあさす
I
が
mean,
に高校には
I am in high
で
school.
も小学生ならそういう言うのも
But for an elementary schooler, I think saying ooh ooh is pretty cute.
かわいい
Cute?
言うのが
Saying
かわいい
ooh ooh is cute.
かわいいって
Cute? My careless words seem to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ
Don't say such
マリアのいく
nonsense.
つか知ってる
Do you know how old Maria is?
そうよ
She's 9. As if that was a lot.
小学4年生なのよ
She's a 4th
幼
grader,
稚園児じゃないのよ
not a kindergartner.
まだクラスで言ってるのよ
But she still makes that sound during class. Don't you get it?
この子クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの
Do you know what they say about this kid when they bully
変
her?
な口癖のせいで未だに友達の一人
Thanks to this weird habit, she still hasn't made a single
無
friend.
責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って現実から目をそらさないで
Don't turn your eyes from reality to carelessly call Maria cute.
この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて
Think more seriously about this kid's future.
だからその言うのをやめなさい
I told you, stop making that sound.
やめろって言ってんでしょ
Didn't I tell you to stop it? Aunt Rosa stroked Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George Anarchy.
昔はローザおばさんもマリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけ
A
ど
long time ago, Aunt Rosa also thought of it as nothing more than one of Maria Chan's baby
小学
words.
校の中学年になっても治らないのを最近はだいぶ気にしてて
But now that it hasn't been fixed, even midway through elementary school, she's been worrying about it a lot. By the way, if you guys sent something in chat, I'm not seeing it. My phone died. Um, Asian parents tend to be strict and tough. If anything, Rosa has the point, but root of the problem is obvious. Exactly. She has a point here. To be honest, I'll be honest. Anyways, it's lunchtime. I'll see you in 1 hour. I won't. It's very late for me. But thank you for coming by. But I agree with you. She has a point. But also, she beating her child as much isn't going to make her stop saying that shit. You know. But now that it hasn't been fixed,
別にどういうこと扱いをしようと関係ねえだろ
how she talks isn't really that big of a deal, right?
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ
She'll never make it as an adult if she's like this.
見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけれどこれはおばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ
So even though it isn't fun to watch, this is a problem between parent and child.
まあ私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくお袋に怒られるけどよ
Well, even I get chewed out by mom all the time because of how I talk. When they put that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should put on.
バトラ君だって 小さい頃悪い癖が治らなくて怒られたことがあったんじゃないかい？
Buttercon, when you were a kid, didn't you have any bad habits that you couldn't fix and that got you into trouble?
まあ
Well,
一つ
one or
授
two.
業参観の日に人前でずっと怒られてた時は恥ずかしくてたまらなかったぜ。
On Parents' Day, once I kept getting yelled at in front of everyone and was embarrassing
じゃ
as
あ
hell.
今のマリアちゃんたちの気持ちはわかるよね。僕たちにここにいてほしいとは思わないんじゃないかな。
Well then, you can understand how the two of them must feel right now. I'm sure they don't want us to be
ジ
here
ェシ
now.
カちゃんにもわかるよね。
You understand too, don't you, Jessica-chan?
怒られてるところを誰かに見られてとは思わないぜ。
I don't think anyone likes to be seen when they're being scolded. I remember too young to be a mother, sadly realistic, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say too young because you see, okay, you're not here anymore, but just for the bit, people have, like, women have been mothers historically since like they're like 14, you know. I don't think you need to be old to foster. I think society, I especially think she acts this way because of her status, because she thinks her child is to reflect her wealth, you know. To me personally, if I was in a situation similar to hers, I really wouldn't see an issue. Like, I'd probably beat my child in regards to other stuff, like them messing up, making a mess, maybe like, I don't know, killing a bird or something, but not over a mannerism of language, you know. If it's just a mannerism, it's a mannerism, and that's what it is.
行こ
Let's
う。
go.
ゲストハウスへ戻ろう。
We'll return to the guest
そして
house.
マリアちゃんが戻って
Then
きたら
after Maria-chan comes back,
何事もなかったかのように迎えてあげよ
let's
うよ。
welcome her as if nothing
それ
happened.
が一番じゃないかい。
That's probably for the best, isn't it? We thought George Eniki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable sounding argument as a justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Eniki and we all laughed. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear, and we laughed, sort of guilt and shameless after saying it.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。
In that case, look by yourself as much as you want. Mama doesn't care.
探す。マリアが一人で探す。ママが知らなくても探す。
I'll look for it. I'll look for it by myself, even if Mama doesn't
勝
care.
手にしなさい。
Head your way. After blasting her with those last few words, Rose spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rose's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone at the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while a raindrop would fall on the forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place, not until she found that poor, wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria barely stared at the place it was supposed to be, and though frantically, maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. Will the glass crack? It's raining now. Kinzo noticed the sound of raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. The sound feels quieter than any silence, and makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they are born to the moment they die. Bars. I need to fucking kill Streamlabs. It destroys my chat. You can't send any messages. You're late, Beatrice. Were those words directly directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze. Well then, let us begin. Let us begin our banquet of miracles. This island has now been cut off from the world. Now there are none who can interrupt my ceremony. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my grandchildren, me, my guests, and my servants. You may devour as many as you please. The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, because of that, because I will bet on such madness, I will most assuredly bring forth a grand miracle. Come, devour to your heart's content. I will achieve victory over that roulette. Yes, I will put everything on the line. First, I will return the inheritance of the Shiromiya family. Accept it. Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of a thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring. And when you are resurrected, surely I will be the one who stands witness. I will survive until the end to watch over you as you awaken. So come, Beatrice. Welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me another miracle just this once. Oh, Beatrice. an hour has passed. Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. What time is it? It's far too late. I will be save. It was a smaller stream today. I am quite. Think it. Exit the game. Title back. Yes. I can do this. Okay. Today was a shorter stream. I am very tired. Uni has been being itself horrible. Tomorrow it's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Let me see. Is it tomorrow? Yeah. Tomorrow we will be playing Victoria 2. We will be resuming our gameplay as Peru. So I hope all of you will be there. I have cooked a nice thumbnail. I hope you all will enjoy it. So thank you all who came up today. I will see you all tomorrow, and thank you all. I appreciate it fondly. God bless all of you. Please pray for me. I'll be praying for all of you, and see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.